Today we are going to learn about how steam engine works. So steam engine is a general term, but we are going to see the locomotive steam engine. Steam engine actually initially it was used for different purpose, not for locomotion. But here we are going to see locomotive steam engine because that will be more interesting. So, so locomotive steam engine more interesting. So we are going to see about that. So obviously everyone would have witnessed this in so many like in your throughout your childhood or in TV shows or anything in cartoons everywhere this you would have encountered. So it's not a new thing. So we'll go to the parts first because to call something you should know the names. So we'll start with the parts. So the front portion is called the boiler. So there only our water is going to boil. So only it's called a boiler. And this dome is called sand dome. And this dome, no, they are not given the name. It is called steam dome. And this is whistle. This is cab. That is cabin. And everything is okay. This is they'll call as tender. So this wagon which is attached to the engine, steam engine is called a tender. So it carries water and fuel. So fuel probably coal, coke, wood, oil. So difference between coal is somewhat impure stuff. Coke is purified. From coal only they are making coke. So coal is having a lot of impurities. It produces a lot of smoke, waste gases. But coke is somewhat purified thing from the coal. And water. Obviously, steam means from water only we are going to get the steam. So as the name suggests, definitely water should be there. And fuel. Now you can correlate what we are going to do. We are going to burn this fuel. So it will produce fire. With that fire, we are going to boil the water. From the water, from the liquid water, we are going to get a water vapor, that is steam, by having superheated steam. That's with that steam we are going to get the work output. So that is the basic idea. So how we are going to get that? So it looks very simple. The physics also looks simple. Heat energy is converted into mechanical energy, but the design plays a crucial role here. So actually the first steam engine was Thomas Newcomen engine. So he developed that. He made that steam engine to pump water from the mines. So a lot of these gold mines and some mine shafts will be there. You would have seen to extract the ores for minerals and iron ores and all. So for that they will be having these mines. So in that mines, that water will get accumulated. Water lodging problem will be there. So to pump that, they previously they used physical work, physical labor like using hours or manual labor. Then he come up with this idea of using engine, but he has not used steam, but he has used atmospheric engine. By using atmospheric pressure, he created the engine. By creating vacuum and atmospheric pressure, with the difference, he get the work output. So don't put much of your thought into that. You will see what I'm talking. It will make sense in few or more slides. So that is the first engine. Just know, just for the sake of completeness, you know it. That is Thomas Newcomen engine. Thomas Newcomen is the first person to invent that engine. The next two was improvise an engine by making it more efficient was James Watt. So this name you have here, James Watt, because the unit of power is credited to him, Watt. So James Watt has improvised Thomas Newcomen engine, but is like we can say from that only industrial revolution started. They started to use like mass production. They manufactured that engine and they started to use in locomotives, even in cars and many things like whatnot. Everywhere they started to use this James Watt engine. So with that, the industrial revolution started and all the wheels started to roll, manufacturing, production, and so much employment has been created. The economy got boom, but simultaneously the carbon emission also got increased, and the greenhouse gases and everything, global warming. So simultaneously that also increased because we are burning the coal. So that is with the history part. Now let us go to our steam engine, how it works. So here Tender in the water is there. Above that fuel. That fuel is coal or coker, would I say. So next step, inside the cabin, you will have this fireman and the driver. So he is the fireman. His role will be like dumping the coal inside this firebox. This is called firebox, and this is a fire door. So he will take the coal from the reserve and he is going to dump here. So it will be burning. Excuse me. So it will be burning. So from that burning of this coal, it produces smoke, hot gas. So that gas will be sent through these tubes. This is called fire tubes. For the sake of simplicity, they have shown here like this. Next slide, I'm going to show you how it looks. Okay, in reality, how it looks. So through these fire tubes, this hot smoke gonna pass, and it's gonna escape through this. This is called smoke box. It's gonna escape through this smoke box, and it's go out of this chimney. So before getting into the detail of that, we will see here what is this ash pan. So below this coal, this plate is there. This plate is like they'll make some drill holes in that. This is called grates. They'll call us grates. So it is called grates. So holes will be there. So what's the purpose of this grates means? This is called fire grates. What's the purpose of that means? So whatever that waste produces by the coal, since the coal is burning, ashes will be produced. That ashes will be collected in this ash pan. So it's getting deposited here. And this door is used to allow the oxygen, that is air, atmospheric air inside, so that our fire won't get turned off. I mean, you know very well, like fire needs oxygen, right? Otherwise, it just like that, it goes off. So we need oxygen. So to allow the oxygen to come inside, this door acts like that. It allows the air supply. And this door is to collect the ashes, whatever is collected in the ash pan. That is, once it reaches the destination, they are going to collect this ashes. So this is the ash pan. So this is the detail you should know. So now we'll go to the mechanism, how it moves our wheel of the steam engine. So since the coal is burning, so you know it produces hot gas, and the hot gases goes through this fire tube, and the fire tube gets heated up. So this fire tube is surrounded like circularly, surrounded by this cylindrical vessel. We'll call it as a pressure vessel or cylindrical vessel that carries the water. So this cylindrical vessel carries the water, and the fire tube goes inside that. So what will happen? That water will take the heat, because water is at room temperature. Here it is high temperature. As the principle, like nature, law of nature, heat moves from hot body to the cold body, like high temperature to lowest temperature. That is room temperature, whatever is there. So heat starts to flow. Heat transfer happens to the water. Whatever water is stored in this vessel, like cylindrical vessel, and water starts to boil. So you can see here. So this firebox and the fire tube is enclosed, like encapsulated by this cylindrical vessel called the boiler. You can imagine how it will be like cylindrical. You can see, in steam engine, cylinder portion will be there in front of that. So that is the pressure vessel or cylindrical vessel. So inside that it got this water. It has this water, and this water gonna boil because of the heat. When the water is boiling, it produces steam. So you can see the steam here. Everywhere steam is there, and the steam gets collected in the steam dome, not the sand dome. The purpose of sand dome, I'll tell you. The steam dome. Why steam dome is there? Because if you want to collect the steam, you can't collect from here, because our main purpose is to have to collect the high pressure steam. So with the high pressure steam, we're gonna get the work output. So that design we will see. But here we have to collect the high pressure steam. So to collect the high pressure steam, we can't keep it at the same level of water, because that water will enter through our pipe. So in order to avoid that entering of water inside our main pipe, we are raising it so that it will be somewhat above the level from the water level. So we'll keep our pipe here. So we'll collect the steam here, and we will allow the steam to go to our cylinders. We will see what is that. So that is the role of this steam dome. And one more role is there will be a safety valve. So this is called a safety valve. So this safety valve is used to allow any, like in case you are not allowing the steam to go out of this main pipe, like it's like throttle only, you are stopping it. so that the engine won't move. But since the heat is there inside that our fire tube, the firebox and fire tube, the steam will be produced. Since the steam is produced, the pressure gets built up. So if the pressure gets built up, if there is no way out, it's going to explode. Like in history, so many steam engine boiler explosions happen. So to avoid that, they're using this safety valve. So when the pressure reaches at a certain danger level, the safety valve gets open and the high pressure steam is gonna come out, so that we are safe. So we are avoiding that explosion. So we'll
Sir,
see.
I have a doubt.
Yeah,
So what material they'll use for this valve?
this one, this valve.
Yes, sir, the high pressure valve, what material they will use?
So all these, like including this steam, this boiler, and everything is made up of the same material only. But the valve will be somewhat complicated, because valve is like the design of valve is like when the pressure goes, there will be spring loaded, like what to say, like one button will be there, it's spring loaded. So when the pressure is built up here, it's gonna, I mean, when the pressure build up here, it's gonna compress it. So the pressure setting will be done with this spring tension. So when the pressure is building up, this, what we'll call this, we call it a stud or something, it's gonna, it will come down. So it will press against that spring. So here one opening will be there. Until then, this will be blocking that opening. Once the pressure reaches the spring force, the spring gonna come down, then it escapes through this valve. The material what they'll use is more probably that we can say it should avoid that corrosion resistance would be there, so that they will use some coating. Okay, some coating should be there inside, some coating, because you want to avoid. But previously, when I'm talking about historical steam engine, that much technology was not there. But now if you ask, with the modern day engineering, in order to avoid the corrosion and everything, the coating will be the chrome plated material they will use. And for this high pressure means it should withstand so much strength. So high tensile, like it should have more tensile strength. Okay, that material they use, they will not use brittle material. So it goes like that. So we can call it as a low carbon steel. Okay, like we can call it as a mild carbon steel they'll be using. Okay, not somewhat high carbon, mild carbon steel they'll be using for this regulator valve. And if you know anything apart from that material, you can tell me. Do you know anything? So this is from my knowledge only, because I never read that. From the
So,
application,
but then how does this pressure valve calculate of like this pressure is used?
yeah, the setting will be there. The spring is there, no spring. The spring we
So,
can
sir, like
calculate
when the steam builds up, like the spring will be contracting, and then when the spring is like in the maximum level of contraction, the valve will open.
Yeah. So the spring, this, when you are buying spring, they will give this value called spring constant. Okay. From the spring, it will be given in Newton per meter in unit. Okay. So from this, we can calculate for what is the displacement of the spring, how much force you have to apply. So when you're buying spring from the market, with this value only, you'll be buying spring constant. They'll be giving in Newton per mm or kgf per mm. Kg means kilogram force per mm. I have given an SI unit. This is also possible, like CJ unit, kilogram force per mm. For 1 mm displacement, what is the kgf, kilogram force you have to apply. So from this calculation, so they know what amount of pressure is safe for your, like what value of pressure is safe for your pressure vessel, like cylindrical vessel. So below that, for a safety factor, they'll consider some 80% of that value they will take, and they'll set the spring. Like if it comes to that much displacement mm, if it compressed to that much level, so it will open. So they can set, okay, the spring can be bought and set accordingly. And this value also can be varied. The settings will be there, spring settings will be there. The value also can be varied. So it's not like a constant pressure setting. You can vary the pressures or pressure settings also.
Okay, sir.
Okay, next. So up to this, you are now good. Now we are all understand how steam is produced and how we are going to safely use that with the safety valve. And next we are going to see the regulator, everything. But before that, this firebox and fire tube, it is not like exactly what has been shown here. What is shown here, it is like somewhat deep. Okay, so this you have to understand. So as I said, this is the grate, fire grate, and this is the ash pan, and the coal is there. This is called fuel. So here they are calling a small flues and large flues. The safety valve, here you can just safety valve is kept here, not in the steam dome, but actually in actual engine inside the steam dome, there will be safety valve. So this is the steam dome. Okay, no problem. So what is this flues? The flues is nothing but the duct. Duct means the pipe which carries the hot gas or hot air or anything gas. No need to be hot, anything. So that is called flues. So whatever blue color is that is water. Okay, that orange color is that is only your tube, duct pipe. Okay, so you can see the duct pipe dia is same here, and it is increasing. When you go above the level, it is increasing. Okay, the duct pipe diameter is increasing. I'll tell you what is the purpose of that. So that they are calling as large flues, and the small diametrical duct pipe is called small flues. Okay, large flues, small flues. So what is the purpose of this large flues? Why can't they keep the same level of same diameter, same size duct pipe throughout this? The engine. What is the reason? Means we will follow the process. Then at the time I will explain you. So when the heat, that hot gas is going through this duct pipe, that is nothing but the fire tube, or also called flues, in the small flues and large flues. So the water is getting heated up. So when the water is, you can see here blue color is, the blue is varying and it's become magenta or purple. When the blue color is changing, they want to show the water is getting heated up, because when the water is hot, the density will be low. So it is always at the top. Hot water will be always at the top. Cold water will be bottom of the vessel. So you can see the hot water is at the top, and the steam is produced, and the steam is collected. I mean, everywhere it is built up, but it is also built up at the steam dome, and the pressure is increasing. So here the main pipe, and this is the regulator valve. So you can see saturated steam, or this is called regulator valve. So this valve will be controlled by the driver. The train car driver will be there, no steam engine driver. He will control this valve. So it is like a throttle for your car, the gas pedal, for your bike, the accelerator. Like that for the steam engine, this is the throttle. So when you control the regulator, the amount of steam goes into this pipe will be controlled. So the steam goes into this pipe, and it will collected here in this ball type structure. This is called superheater header. So I'll tell you what is the purpose of it. So whatever steam is getting collected from here, from the steam dome to up to the superheater header, it will be, you can see the color difference between dark green, then it becomes light green. What does it mean? The dark green means, I mean, the color difference why they are showing means that the steam is still wet. Okay, moisture content is there. Still water droplet like moisturizer is there. Moisture content is there. Okay, so that like spray, water, like what we can call like small droplets of waters are there mixed with the steam. So still it is wet. That steam is getting collected in this superheater header, and it will be sent through this, like you can call it as a U-shaped tube. Like it is going and coming back. This U-shaped tube. This is called superheater elements. This U-shaped, you can follow this. It will go and it will come back again. So again it will go and it will come collected here. What is the purpose of it? Because when you send the wet steam inside the tube, and this tube is superheater element is going inside this large flues. So what is there in the large flues? Hot gas is coming from here. So that will heat up this wet steam. So already it is a steam, not a water, but still it is wet steam. The wet steam will become still dry. So the dried steam will come out of this. So to show the difference between the wet steam and dried steam, they use this color coding. So dark green is wet steam, light green is dry steam, like superheated steam, because they know they don't want to send the wet steam inside the cylinder. I mean, we are going to see this will be connected to the cylinder and piston design, piston assembly. So they don't want to send the wet steam inside that cylinder piston assembly, because it's gonna spoil or rust, or because the what will happen. Rusting will happen and it will heat up the material. So we have to go for the coating and other designs, other modifications. So to avoid that, they want to use dry steam, that is superheated steam. And also one more purpose is there. This is one thing. And one more purpose is, if you are using dry steam, like we are taking the wet steam and they are sending through this large fluids, and again we are bringing back. So the kinetic energy of the molecules, water molecules, will be high. what I mean to say is the temperature will be increased. The temperature of your steam will be further increased. So it's called superheated. So you can notice the name, superheated steam. So when the temperature of the steam is increased, we are going to tap high kinetic energy. Okay, so kinetic energy generally we are going to convert into piston movement. From that piston movement, we are going to get the wheel movement. So heat energy, water, like water is liquid water is converted to water molecules like steam. That water molecules still we are importing more heat, so it will be vibrating like anything, those water molecules. So high kinetic energy that we are going to send to our piston cylinder assembly. So it's gonna give our energy output as a mechanical output. So that we will see here. So this color difference you understood from blue to purple and dark green to light green. And you can see in the firebox, orange to yellow. So the orange is like hot. The yellow is like somewhat relatively cold, not completely cold, relatively cold. So this gas, this whatever gas, hot smoke is coming from the firebox. And also we are going to see another gas, exhaust gas will come from our piston cylinder assembly. So that also will be taken out and it will be sent out to this chimney. So this only you will be seeing in your cartoon or anywhere. Steam engine will be coming out from your boiler, from the boiler. Are we clear? Are we clear there?
Sir, like, can you explain that steam dome again? Like, I didn't get it. What the steam dome does?
See, steam dome is like if you keep the level at the same here, when you will collect the steam, our main purpose to collect the steam, high pressure steam. When you want to collect, there is a chance of water also will get into that because it will be shaking, no, right? You want to raise the level so that you will ensure there will not be any amount of water get into your pipe. So to raise the level from the this cylinder, I mean the boiler, they are keeping this dome. So it will be raised above that. So there will be a chance of water will be getting into the pipe. So they want to provide this provision like space. So they want to provide this space so that they will collect, they will ensure they are going to ensure they are going to collect only steam, no water going to come into it. So that is the purpose of the steam dome. And inside the steam dome, as I shown previously, there will be a safety valve and the main pipe will be connected with this regulator valve. That regulator valve will be controlled by this driver. Okay. So some linkage and rods will be given and he will be pulling that. So that will open and close the valve. So you will control the amount of steam getting into the main pipe. So with that, you can control the speed of the engine like a throttle.
So, sir, the water will be stored in that safe that over in that top place.
No, water is here. You see, the purple is water, the green is steam.
Yes, sir. Like,
Like
yeah, that
see,
purple one.
this is water and this is steam. Why they want to raise the level? They can keep the pipe. If you make the design like this, like everything is connected, no dome. So you're going to keep the pipe here. So there will be a chance of water is getting into it. So to ensure 100%, no, I mean, no drop of water get into your main pipe, you want to raise it, okay, from the level of this cylinder, I mean, vessel, I mean, boiler.
But
So,
sir, the water will be stored, or what will happen to that water?
Water is like, it's like cylinder here. We will see the design here, white. See, this is the cut section of this steam engine. You can see the fire tubes and you can see small tubes there, small fluids. This is like large fluids. So this will be like full cylinder will be covered. This has been cut. You can see. So I'm just extra.
Yes, sir.
So this box is fully covered. So water will not get to it. Water will be here and everywhere surrounding the tubes. Okay. And not get into the smoke box and not get into the fire box. Okay. It will be completely sealed. So our inside the water, our fire tubes are going. So when the hot gases go through this fire tube, the heat is transferred to the water and the water starts to boil. So here you can see steam dome is there. Okay. And this everywhere steam pressure will be there, but we are going to collect the steam from the dome only. Okay. Farther on, this dome is existing. Everywhere steam pressure, steam will be there.
Okay, sir. Now
everywhere steam will be there. But we are going to collect the steam from here. Okay.
Fine, sir. And sir, the water will also help in temperature control for the heat pipe.
No, water will not, because water is like it's already in hot condition, like it is boiling 100 degrees Celsius. It will be, so it is boiling. So what will happen? Here we can't control the heat because it is like old technology. You know, we are just dumping the coal and more heat will be coming. And because of the more heat, more pressure will build up. So we are going to release the pressure using this safety valve. That's it. Okay. When the
Okay,
water
sir.
is getting converted to steam and the pressure is building up, in order to avoid the explosion, we will just open it. So steam will go out. So maximum,
Okay, sir.
it will be like water will be 100 degrees Celsius, otherwise steam will come out. Above that, it won't go, right? The
Yes,
heat
sir.
will be inside the tube only. Whatever heat we are transferring, it can reach maximum 100 degrees Celsius and steam will start to come. And that steam will be, getting pressurized because it is in the closed volume. And the more steam comes out, the more pressure will build up. And because of that, there's a chance of explosion of this boiler. So they are using the safety regulator to avoid that explosion.
Okay, sir.
So you can see here. So when the pressure reaches the danger level, so this will be open out and the high pressure steam will come out of this. So here is the main pipe, as I told earlier. So here you can see the regulator valve. So this will be controlled with this rod and linkages. It will go to the driver cabin. Okay, he will control that. By opening this valve, regulator valve, we will control the quantity or amount of steam. High pressure steam goes into this main pipe. And you can see water will not come to the smoke box. Okay, only these fire tubes will come and whatever smoke comes, it will go out of this chimney. So water will be encapsulated here on because they will manufacture in such a way. Okay, it will be closed. Okay. So whatever the hot steam is coming, that is a dry steam, or we can call it a superheated steam. It is coming to this main pipe. So this assembly is called a piston cylinder assembly. And you can see this assembly will be in front of you, both sides it will be there. Okay. In both sides it will be there. So it will give more power. Okay. So both sides of the wheel will be operated or pulled by this cylinder and piston assembly. This will be called double acting cylinder. We're going to see what it is in the next slide. So before that, I'll just give you the names. So this is called cylinder and this is piston block, piston, and this is called the driving rod, or we'll call it as piston rod. And this rod will be connected with this one linkage, okay, with this pivot joint. And from that, we are having this one more rod. It is connected to the crank. This is called a crank. And from this crank, we are having one more rod, straight rod, that connects to other two wheels. Okay, so we're gonna drive this wheel. This is the main wheel. We're gonna drive this wheel with the reciprocating motion of the piston. It will be like moving forward and backward. With the reciprocating motion of the piston, with this crank, it will rotate the main wheel. But since this crank is connected to this two rod, this is also simultaneously rotate. So our power will be given to this wheel, and from that the power is transferred to other two wheels with the help of this rod. Okay.
Sir, how is the piston moving to and fro?
Yeah, we'll see. So this white is called steam and the purple is called exhaust gas. So when the steam, hot steam, like superheated steam comes into it, this is called sliding valve. Okay. You can see here, this is cylinder, this piston. This I never given you the name. Now I am telling you the name. This is called a sliding valve. What is the purpose of it? It will allow the direction of flow of your steam from this. The cylinder is having two sides. No, we will call it as a front and back for namesake, because there is no front and back person, because which way you will mount it will be like that. So for the purpose of it called left and right. So it will control the direction, which side of the cylinder the steam should go. There's a slide valve. Okay. So now the slide valve is here in this portion. The steam comes here and the steam get into it. Since this valve is blocked, steam can't go here. And the steam get into it. It will push. So you can see the big arrow. It will push the piston this side. And since I am showing not the initial cycle, part of the cycle, already some exhaust gas is there. You're going to see how this built up here. If you follow the first cycle, nothing will be there. But you consider the second or third cycle we are following. So here, that waste steam will be there, that whatever worked out steam, that steam will be pushed here. Since it's moving forward, this steam will be pushed. And since the valve is moved here, it will connect this to this. And it will go out of this to the chimney. Okay. It will go.
So, but won't the pressure like break the cylinder due
Huh?
because this
What is
piston
it?
is moving. This
No,
piston
the
is moving
piston
towards.
stroke length is will be defined. Okay, the piston will not move beyond the stroke length. This is called displacement. Okay, the piston will move inside this only. Okay,
Yes, sir. But then, like this, won't the cylinder be like pressured?
which one?
The cylinder
Because of
in which
this.
the piston is in, the cylinder in which the piston is.
No, yeah. When the piston block reaches, this is called top dead center, bottom dead center. We'll call. Okay, in engineering we'll call, in mechanical engineering. So bottom dead center, top. When the piston block reaches the top dead center, whatever the steam pressure is there, the slide valve move here, because see, it's connected to the linkage here. Since the wheel is rotating, this will be moved. Then again the steam will come this side. Okay, so it not continuously push in one direction. If you say like that, there is a chance of breaking. The steam will not continuously push because the slide valve is moving, the direction will be changing. Again, the steam will come this side, will start to push. So this main pipe will be connected this. We can see next slide. See, the main pipe is connected here. Can you see?
Yes, sir.
The main pipe is connected here. It is again pushing this side. So continuously don't push here. Again, the slide will move this side because it's connected to this rod here. And this will be synchronized pakka. The design is pakka. The length and the position is pakka. When the piston block reaches the bottom dead center, this valve will move. Like that, they will make this connection here. How this moves?
Okay,
Because of
sir.
the movement
Now
of
I
the
got
wheel.
it.
Because
So,
how why
from both the sides, the piston is getting pressured by the steam, so it is moving.
no. Both the yeah, this piston is getting pressure from both sides, is moving, yeah. But the
Yeah.
slide valve is operated by the wheel movement. Initially, the piston moves the wheel, and once the wheel started to move, there will be inertia on the wheel, and that inertia will control the motion of the valve, and it's like the cycle goes on. So the valve will move again. Pressure, steam will come this side. Again, piston will move. So again, valve will move. So like that, valve and piston will move in synchronization. This will happen like a cycle, okay, periodically. So we are getting a continuous work output. There will not be any interruption. So everything is a design, okay. Physicists will
Okay.
tell the principle, but the design is depends upon the engineers how they want to get the real output.
Okay, sir. Mhm.
So by moving is up and down the slide, you can get it how it works. The white is called steam. Come push, and whatever exhaust that is used up steam, the steam which done the work, that will be shown in purple. That is sent as exhaust pipe. Again, this also comes to the exhaust pipe. You can see. So the center line is connected to the exhaust pipe. Only with the movement of the valve, we are connecting steam line and the exhaust line. Okay, this is called as steam line. There is two steam line and one exhaust line. With the help of the valve, we will connect either this or this. Okay, so you can see with the help of the valve, always exhaust will be connected. You can see always exhaust is open, but only the left or right side of the steam line will be decided by the moving valve, so that the piston will move forward and backward. When the piston move forward and backward, this reciprocating motion is converted into rotational motion. That is the biggest design, okay, that will use in everywhere in automobiles, okay, in our bike also. The piston block will be moving, so it will be connected to the rod, and the rod will be connected to crank. This crank plays a huge role. With the crank only, the linear motion is converted into rotational motion, because the crank is like it's not connected eccentrically. Okay, if this is the center, and this one rod, and this one rod, yeah, this is our piston block. When it is moving inside this, it is going to and fro, forward and backward. It will pull. When it is pulling, it will make a radius, circular motion. When it is coming back, it will move circular motion. Like it will keep on do it. So it will go forward and backward only, but this crank will make a circular motion. From this only we are getting the output. The wheel will move.
Okay.
So with this crank only, we are making this wheel to move. You can see the crank is moving and the wheel is moving. So from the crank, they connect the straight rod, and the rod is again, it is eccentrically connected, not the center, eccentrically connected. So this is also moving. The wheel also moving. Any doubt here? How the linear motion is converted into rotational motion? So this is straight rod, simple rod. And you don't think this is connected to the wheel. No, this is independent. It's hanging. Okay, this is connected only with the straight rod, driving rod. And from this we connected with this crank, and the crank is connected to the wheel. So here only we are making the connection with the wheel. Up to this, there is no connection to the wheel. From this crank, again we are connecting with the other two wheels. So this rod. So when you can imagine when the block is moving, this will move. When this is moving, it will push this. When it is pushing, what will happen? This is connected eccentrically, it will try to rotate. When it is rotating, it will pull this rod also, it will push this rod also. So this will also rotate. So everything will rotate. Got it? Any doubt here? How this linear motion is converted to rotational motion? The simple mechanism of a piston linear motion and a connecting rod and a crank. Connecting rod. Okay. So here on pin and a crank, here on pin and here on pin. Here our say a piston block will be there. This is the cylinder. Okay. In engine also you can see. So this is fixed. Does it mean this is fixed to the center of the wheel? And this crank rod, when it is going forward and backward, so it will pull here and again it will push. Pull, push. Because of pull and push, it will make rotation. Okay. Okay, guys. Any doubt here? Shall we move?
Yes, sir. No doubt.
So these exhaust gases will be given into the smoke box, and whatever hot gas come from this fire tubes, that also come out of this and will go out of the chimney. So that is only you are seeing as a steam coming out of the steam engine.
So, sir, like the steam coming out of the piston is mixing with the saturated steam. It will become saturated. The steam coming out of the piston, you know, the piston
that will
valve.
be like that is not that is the used up steam you can call. The temperature will be low, relatively low compared with the superheated steam. Compared to this white color, this purple will be related. Temperature is low and pressure will be less. Okay, because it has done the work.
But it will mix with the saturated steam and it will go out, or it'll go out in a different.
No, what do you mean by the saturated steam? This one you are asking.
So yes, sir, the steam which comes in.
No. It is smoke boxes. See, smoke box is separate. This is separate. Okay, this steam will not come into the smoke box. The steam is tapped through this main pipe.
Okay, sir.
The steam is tapped through this main pipe. It will not come here. If it comes, it will escape of the chimney. It goes out. No, there will not be any pressure at all. We are wasting the energy. So build up the pressure is inside the closed chamber. Okay, so the pressure will be building up. So we are taking the high pressure steam from this main pipe. Once it does the work, it relatively cool down because it gives out the energy, all the kinetic energy goes down, the temperature drops, and this used steam will be sent out to this chimney and it goes out of this chimney. I mean, sent to this smoke box and it goes out of this chimney. So as you see here. So this is the steam dome and this is a sand dome. I'll tell you the purpose of sand dome. The first slide it will be there. So here they are keeping inverse. This is a steam dome. This is sand dome. How I'll be sure it is sand dome? Because from sand dome you can see on line will be on tube will be coming out. Can you see? The tube is going in front of this wheel, the main wheel. The wheel we are giving the power. Why? Because the sand will be sprinkled in front of the wheel, so that there will be a traction between the wheel and the track, so that it won't slip. The wheel won't slip, because in our normal use we are having a traction because of the rubber. I mean, we are rubber tires we are using. There are some threads will be there. Okay, threads to be called threads, right? So that is having shapes, no, the rubber thread. So it having a traction on the tar road. But here you can see this is also iron wheel, this is also iron track. So in order to avoid the slippages, they are using this sand box, sand dome, and it will supply this tray, sprinkle the sand in front of this wheel, and the sand will be like acting as a friction element, traction between this wheel and the tracks, so that it won't slip. Slipping means it will be in the same place, it won't move forward. You are converting heat to mechanical, but mechanical is not used effectively, only it will be rotating on the same track, but we will not be displacing at all. If you displace only, you can move to one station to another station. So in order to give the traction, they're using this sand dome. So that's it. Now, this is my part, physics behind the steam engine. So I want to ask you. So now in general, I produce the high pressure steam. I given to the cylinder and piston assembly, and the piston is moving forward and backward. That has been converted into rotational motion, and my engine is moving. But I want to increase what to say, because I want to connect the steam engine. Behind that, I want to connect 2 or 3 cars you keep. Instead of 1 car, I want to connect 3 or 4 wagons or 5 wagons or so many wagons I want to connect. So how we are going to decide the pressure of your steam from this? What pressure of the steam you want to send inside the cylinder so that it can pull around 40 wagons. You can see so many steam engines will pull 40 wagons, right? So each wagon will consider as 40 ton. I mean, each wagon is 1 ton. So 40 wagon is 40 ton. So this 40 ton, this engine wants to pull. So what will be the pressure of your steam? So it will make you to think, right? What will be the pressure of the steam? And I will give you.
Like first we'll need to find the
pressure. Still, my input is not complete, right? You have to ask. The data is insufficient. You should say data insufficiency. Okay. So cylinder. This is the piston. So the piston area also I can give you. It will be like A you keep. The area of the piston is A. And what amount of pressure you have to give, high pressure steam you have to give inside this cylinder. It will push this piston area so that I can pull 40 ton load. So you can call it generally load. What and all you have to do? So how to get high pressure? Okay. Instead of calculating generally, how to get high pressure? Any idea?
So the more fuel we put on the heat grave.
Okay, more heat, more temperature. What will happen?
It'll create more steam and more water will be there. So the water will be converted to steam because of the high temperature. So the piston will move even faster.
So here what quantity is increasing? One is temperature, another one is?
So the level of this water?
Yeah, not level, steam. The number of steam
molecules. The level of the steam.
Yeah, number of steam molecules, that is N. And the temperature of the steam, right? Am I right?
Yes. Yes, sir. We have.
So number of steam molecules and temperature. And how this is related with the pressure and the volume of the cylinder?
So we need these two data to conclude how much pressure the piston has to, do to pull that 40 wagons.
How we are going to calculate that? What is the connection between pressure, temperature, number of steam molecules? Pressure acting on the piston, temperature of the steam molecules, and number of steam molecules. What is the connection here? And one thing is missing. What is the connection here?
So the connection between what? The pressure, the steam,
and as you said, if you increase the temperature, pressure increases because kinetic energy of the steam molecule increases. It's gonna dance on your piston block so much fast, like jumping. So it will like more energy will be imported. So pressure is increasing. Okay, fine. Temperature increases, pressure increases. Then what else? What else increases?
So the steam in the valve.
Valve or cylinder?
in which the piston, releases the steam, right? So the pressure in that valve.
I'm not getting what is it.
So right now
Still,
the piston will release the pressure, right? So the steam in that valve,
piston won't release the pressure. Piston will push the used steam back.
back. So we will
This
have
is
to.
used steam. Yeah, somebody's asking, why is volume not coming as a factor? Who is the other? Other? Why valve is not coming? Volume is not coming as a factor. Right? Volume also important, right?
Yes, sir.
So if we increase the volume, okay, otherwise the area of the piston where the steam molecules are acting, because what is pressure? Pressure is force by area. So F equal to P into A. So you can increase the pressure also, increase the area also. So if you increase this area of the piston, that means the volume of the cylinder, so that the more molecules will come and dance on your piston head, so that more force will be transferred. Okay, so pressure, volume, and temperature. So this you are remembering, gas law. Okay, so this is connected to your academics now. Okay, this is independently, observed by Boyles and Charles, and we will call it as a gas law as a general. Okay, so how pressure and temperature is related, how volume and temperature is related. So volume is this one. Okay, where the steam is acting between the piston and the cylinder, that volume. So that volume also increasing, but the temperature is, we can consider temperature is constant. When the temperature of the steam comes in, this is constant. Okay, so we can't say pressure is reducing because the volume is increasing, but still pressure and volume is inversely proportional, but the variation is like the pressure drop will be not that much. So you can take pressure is almost constant from this point to this point. When the piston is moving from a zero volume to the maximum volume of the cylinder, the pressure is not varying. Okay, pressure we can keep it as constant. Okay, so volume is related to temperature. So if you increase the temperature, more number of molecules also will increase. That is N you are increasing, and also by increasing the cylinder volume, you can increase the pressure as we are seeing here. Okay, why I want to bring and confuse this means because I want you to get connected to what you are going to read, the gas law, and how it is applied here. So to increase the force, that pulling force of your steam engine, three factors. One is high temperature. Next is, so high temperature increases the more number of steam molecules. Next is the high volume of the cylinder, like more piston base, like piston head, piston diameter should be bigger, so that the volume, that is we will call it a CC. In your bike, we are calling CC. The more CC, more powerful, right? CC will be in centimeter cube, that volumetric. So it will call volume. So unit of volume is centimeter cube. So if the more CC, more powerful, because the area of the piston where the pressure acts will be increases. So pressure into area will be the force. So when the area increases for the same pressure, so we'll get a more force, right? So pressure into area is force. So we'll get a more pulling force. So temperature, number of steam molecules, and volume. So these things are important to get a more force. So you can think they are creating this 40-ton force with this small, you can see the assembly here, see here. That's it. With this is cylinder and piston, and this is sliding valve. With this, they can pull up to 40 ton only with this boiler. It's nothing but a boiler. So it's the biggest revolution in the transportation, connecting everywhere, and so boom, economy got boom. Okay. Anything? Anything, yeah? Any of you read this gas law? You're gonna read in kinetic theory of gases. So I read in 6th standard. Kinetic theory of gases. Okay, so some postulates they will derive. So many postulates, some 6 or 7 postulates will be there. Like, so you have to assume. So from that only development happens. Then they gone for statistical mechanics. Then so many things develop. Then quantum, everything. So first started with kinetic theory of gases. They started observing how these molecules behave in microscopic scale. And this movement of molecules having the macroscopic effect that only are measuring as a temperature. So given by Boltzmann law, temperature is related to kinetic energy. So, or probably it will be like kinetic energy equal to K into T. K is Boltzmann constant. So kinetic energy of mv square is equal to Boltzmann temperature. It's not directly related. This is for 1 degree of freedom. If the number of degree of freedom is there for the moving molecules, like it can move in all 3 directions, x and y and z. So this will vary. This equation will vary. So I don't want to confuse further. Just for the sake of completeness, I mean, you should know it so that I'm telling you. So that's it. Any doubt?
Sir, instead of like pulling the 40 tons, like we can add a connecting rod to the next wagon's wheel, right?
If you add the connecting rod, the force is same, no? So if you are giving only 1 ton force you are producing in your cylinder assembly, that rod will be can pull only 1 ton. Okay, how many link you can increase? No, since it is a direct displacement. Like if you want to multiply the force, then you have to use simple machines like those mechanisms you can use, like a gear wheel or something like that. So those things you can use to multiply the force, but the power you can't multiply. The power is same. So whatever power we produce, that will be same. So power is what? Work done per unit time, right? So whatever work done per unit time, that we can't change. Energy per unit time will not be changed. The same, but what we can change is we can increase the distance by reducing the force. That is a simple machine, right? How simple machine works? Yeah, how it will help us to pull the heavy load. It will increase the distance so that it will give less force. So work will be same. Work is force and displacement, no? So we'll ready give the less effort by increasing the more distance, so that work will be same. The energy spent will be same, but the force what we are giving effort will be less. But you have to pull for more time. More time you have to pull. So that is only inclined plane. Everything is coming. Pulleys and gear wheels, everything. But it will reduce the speed drastically. So it starts to move slowly. It can increase the time. So it can go with the less force. But that is not feasible or acceptable. We want to go with the same speed, but it should pull more wagons. That is the condition. What are you gonna do? So the given speed is given, number of wagons given. So input is given, the speed I want to go. So these are all the wagons connected. So what are you gonna do? You can't use simple machine ideas, because that you're gonna compensate the distance. So we have to increase the main power only. There is no other. The source of the power should be increased. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, I can give you one example. Like one table is there, one young chap is moving and the old fellow also moving. Old fellow also can move the same distance. Young chap also can move, but how quick the young chap will move, how quick the old man can move. Energy spent will be same at the end of the day, but who moved so quick? The young chap will move within a second. The old man will take 1 hour to move. But he also done the same work. The young chap also done the same work. But the power, who is having more power? The young chap or the old man?
The young sir.
Yeah, because he did it quickly. The same, the energy spent should be monitored within the time. So that is only power. So if it is done with the fraction of second, he's having more power. But the same energy you can spend whole day, but doesn't mean that you are powerful. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So we have to increase this power to increase the speed. I mean to keep the same speed. If you add more load, speed will drastically come down. Right? You can see same bullock cart. If you add load, will start to like crawl the bullock carts. It won't move at the same speed. So whatever you have to add one more bull, or in front of that another 2 bulls you have to connect. Like 2 horses, 4 or 7 horses they are connecting to pull the chariot. So that you'll have more horsepower. See, the horsepower has come. So it'll give more horsepower to pull that. Anything?
Sir, like all the steam engines work in this condition, like that heat grave, and the steam will be produced. All steam engines are working like
Steam engine,
the same.
locomotive steam engine, earlier days.
Whereas any other industry steam engines are like that
That
only
will be
heat.
like vertically they will be using. Okay, so that design will be different. So actually James Bond steam engine design is different, but locomotive steam engine is different because you have to keep it horizontally. It will be in vertical design. The condenser will be there in James Bond steam engine. Separate condenser will be there to cool the steam whatever has come out from the piston. So again, water will be converted. Again, it will be sent back. So that is different. Okay, industry what we are using steam engine.
Sir, but it's the same concept only, right? It's
Yeah,
the same
concept is same. Principle is same. Principle is same. You are boiling the water. You are producing high energy steam molecules, and the steam on high energy means high temperature in macroscopic scale. In microscopic, high kinetic energy. In macroscopic, high temperature. The high temperature steam will be sent to your piston and cylinder assembly here, as you can see, and it is the direction of that steam flow to the to the face of the piston or back end of the piston is controlled by the slide valve. With the help of the slide valve, you can control the direction of the steam flow. So with that, the piston will move forward and backward, and the rod will move and the wheel will rotate. And you can keep it stationary also. You can take that potential. With the steam engine, they can produce electrical energy also, because it will be connected to the magnet. It will connect to the coil, and the coil will be inside the magnet. When the coil is rotating inside the magnet, what will happen? What will happen when the coil rotates inside the magnetic field?
They'll keep on rotating.
No. When the coil rotates inside the magnetic field, the coil cuts the magnetic flux. When the magnetic flux linked to the coil changes, this word you have heard somewhere. Magnetic flux linked to the coil changes, what will happen? It's a beautiful law, Faraday's electromagnetic induction. When the coil cuts the magnetic flux, so the magnetic flux linked to the coil changes, what will happen? It will induce electromotive force inside the coil. So voltage will produce, the current will come out from the coil. So we can generate electricity. So with the steam engine, in the early days, they started generating electricity also. Right?